welcome to another episode of
The
Best of Both Worlds, a program designed for Brazilians and those interested in learning more about Brazil from this culture so that we can become friends, business partners, and neighbors, and by having experiences together and sharing those experiences and our know-how, together we can have
the best of both worlds.
So speaking of that, today we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to talk about actually history. And a lot of people that study American history learn about the Pilgrims first coming to America, I think maybe 1621, 1620. But they just came to check the place out. They didn't really stay and build a working seaport the way Gloucester did. So Gloucester, Massachusetts is the oldest seaport, working seaport in the United States. And the year we were founded, 1623. So yes, this is our 400th year anniversary. So today we're going to talk about this 400th year anniversary and how together, by celebrating it together, we can have the best of those worlds. But first, how interesting it is that just naturally today, the food we chose is pretty basic. It goes back in history. Sometimes you can't improve on the past. Some of the best things come from the past. So, Christiane, you chose what from the United States?
So I got the banana bread.
Yes. I used to make
Smells
banana
so
bread for
good.
my kids. And I chose these delicious little French breads that come in these little loaves. And I also chose something that I myself don't eat because I don't eat mayonnaise, but what's known as Brazilian mayonnaise, which Christiane has on her bread.
I put it on my bread.
She made a little for me to take home to my husband. This is potatoes,
I got
peas,
carrots.
a lot of times carrots, a little apple. It's a mixture of a little bit of sweet, sometimes eggs, a little bit of spice, and then mayonnaise. And it's a variation on, American different kinds of macaroni or potato salads, but Brazilians just call it straight mayonnaise because at the end of the day, that's what makes it. So, Christiane, tell us what went into your mayonnaise. How did you make it?
Yes, so I cut the potatoes into cubes, and I just and also as well as the carrots, I cooked them for a little bit, and then I added some corn.
You didn't use frozen carrots?
I didn't use frozen. I froze
homemade?
Yeah, I did fresh carrots.
Wow.
I did the canned corn though.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put on apples because not a lot of people likes the flavor of apple in mayonnaise. I myself, I personally like it, but when I'm cooking for somebody else, I try to avoid it.
You don't put orange juice on there either?
I didn't put orange juice. I put a little bit of lime juice, some seasonings, like various seasoning, like Mr. Dash, a little bit of salt. I didn't put, there's something you mentioned too, eggs, hard-boiled eggs. You can put hard-boiled eggs, but when you use eggs, the mayonnaise won't last for too long. So I try to avoid it too. Okay. Yes. Awesome. But I love it. Mayonnaise is like usually served with Brazilian barbecue.
Yeah. Yes. It's always a crowd pleaser. When I need a potluck dish, I just make mayonnaise, and I'm always like one of the most popular ones at the party.
Wow.
So,
and the bread, what is it? The banana bread. My Luca used to love it. Now he got tired of it.
So I moved to Gloucester 23 years ago in 2000 when I first got to know Gloucester, and I fell in love with it from the beginning, partly because of the amazing history. But you being here relatively recent, you went and spoke to the executive director of the project or the organization that is officially organizing our 400th year celebrations, right?
Correct, yes.
So tell us, what did you learn about Gloucester's history?
She's organizing the 400 plus Gloucester. It's a celebration.
Elsha.
Yes, Elsha.
Yes.
I talked to Elsha. She's so sweet. She's actually from Netherlands. And she used to live in Canada, and now she moved to Gloucester recently. We're gonna put the full interview at the end of the show.
So you did interview her, you got it on video.
Yes, I got it on video, and she was very sweet, and I want to thank her for her time. And she talked to what called my attention is that she said we call celebration of 400 years plus, because we are not only counting the 400 years of the pilgrims coming,
People coming here,
but also the indigenous, like the native people who were already here.
people that were already here.
Yes, I really like this fact because in family constellation, which is a type of therapy approach, like it's alternative therapy, there's one principle that I love, and I think it's very relevant. I want to share with you is hierarchy. So whoever comes first is bigger. So honoring people who came in first give us more strength to move forward. And even during the interview, I told her, like, I'm the last one to arrive. And honestly, with all the respect, I'm the last one to arrive. I just came to Gloucester in September 2022. So I really honor everything that was done in this place and everybody who came in first. She also said about the Gloucester's diversity. We had a lot of Sicilians who came in, and
Fishermen.
Sicilians, fishermen, Portuguese people, yes.
Now, when you mention natives, I want to say something really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends, he goes by Chief Wampy, but or Larry is his American nickname, but he's a descendant of the original tribe
Mm-hmm.
that Massachusetts was named after.
Wow.
And one day I drove him up from Boston up to Cape Ann,
Mm-hmm.
and it was unbelievable because as we were driving, he named the trees, and he knew just by looking where his ancestors had been and which tribes had been doing what, and it was supernatural. So I'm actually thinking maybe to invite him up here for the 400th year, maybe get his take on it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Yes, and my first impressions of Gloucester, like the main street for me, it resembles a lot of Newbury Street, and I remember studying about Newbury Street in Boston, like how rich it was in culture and how they are preserving all the buildings, and it's a lovely place to be. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very, very charming.
What I love about Gloucester too is we love art,
Mm-hmm.
we love food, we love history. We have like a lot of the things that you think about for rich people, but in this town, nobody cares if you're rich or poor. So there's a guy who maybe has his summer home in Gloucester, a huge mansion, and he's best friends with the kid that works at Dunkin' Donuts, and there are plenty of activities in town where you go and people are welcome. Wine and cheese, hors d'oeuvres, like free admission. It's an art event or a history event or a cultural event, and so, in other words, it is a place where it's a working town, but also we have culture. So it is also like the best of both worlds in that case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see a lot of hard work people. Like when I go to the gas station, people are just like running back and forth.
Yeah.
The attendants, they're very friendly, very welcoming. People at the Y too. Like I'm so glad to be here in this town. I feel like very welcome.
So. What I learned about Gloucester's history when I came here is that it was really founded by Fisher. It was usually men at the time from Portugal and Italy, especially Sicilia, not just Sicilia. So we have a strong Sicilian colony here. But in spite of the fact that we think about those old time, that fishing culture, we also have the oldest art colony in the United States. Rocky Neck is an art colony. It's the oldest one. So we have our old tradition of artists. We have weavers. We have Virginia Burton, who was a children's book author and illustrator. And most children in the United States have read the story Mike Mulligan and his Steam Shovel. Mm-hmm. That was written by Virginia Burton. And so... Also, now I understand that of the population of 30-some thousand, about 3,000 or more are actually from Brazil.
Yes.
So Brazil is becoming like 10% of the population, right? Mm-hmm. So I tried to do some research on when the first Brazilians got here. Nobody seems to know. It's a mystery right now. Mm-hmm. And so we have archives at City Hall.
Uh-huh.
We have the Cape Ann Museum. We have the library.
Mm-hmm.
But Christiana, even if we go there and we do tons of research, we're going to need some help.
Yes.
So we want to encourage all of you. We decided between now and the end of the year, we're going to be doing like a treasure hunt, trying to find the real story of Brazilian immigration, the whole history to Gloucester and Cape Ann. And so we're going to have prizes from all the sponsors that are going to be sponsoring our big party. And, you know, we want to encourage you to send in photos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And memories, stories, old yearbooks from high schools, whatever you have. Just some kind of a proof that someone in your family or someone you knew was in Brazil and then they came to Gloucester.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need, is some kind of a proof that they set foot here, even if they didn't stay very long.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, one curious story that I heard on a baby shower in Everett. One of these guys, he works at the Brazilian consulate, and he said he used to be a driver. He would bring he would drive him Brazilians from New Jersey, New York to Gloucester. And they're all yes, and they're all from one tiny city from Minas Gerais, which is called Resplendor. Resplendor. So yes.
What is the population of Resplendor?
I'm not sure, but I know it's a small city in Minas. And they say like every family member has someone living in the United States here in Gloucester. So it's very curious. Sometimes we even have a joke among Brazilians, like the last one to leave the city just shut down the lights.
That is so funny.
It is.
Wow.
So I found this piece of information. I was so
And did you meet
so
anyone
intrigued.
from that city in Gloucester?
I have met, yes, a couple, people that is from
We should
Resplendor.
invite them on sometime.
Yes, we should have people.
I'd
So
like
if
to
you're
see.
from Resplendor and you want to be here in our show, please, you're very welcome.
So, how are you going to celebrate or make the most of the 400th year anniversary of Gloucester?
I think just being here when you sent me you invited me to be part of the show, I really envisioned like 10 years from now when my son is going to school and he wants to learn more about Brazilians and his culture, that he could go on YouTube and find our shows and do a little research. So I'm thinking about that. You know, he's only 4 years old, and this is gonna be the city where he gets most of his memories. So being part of the shows, bringing some food here, making our community stronger, I think that's one way of celebrating Gloucester's 400 years, and also incorporating a little bit of the Brazilian culture too.
I wonder if there's any kind of a party that we could throw.
Right?
Trying to think, you know?
Yes, we could. So if you have any ideas, please,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
We could do like a lobster bake party. Have you ever had a lobster?
Oh, I love
Been to
lobster.
lobster bake? You ever seen what that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can maybe do. Anyway.
Yeah, Brazilian barbecue with lobster and lobster.
Yeah.
And bolinho de bacalhau.
Yeah, exactly.
The cod
Oh my
cakes.
God, yes.
Yeah, we love it.
Or we could do, one event could be the Brazilian barbecue, and the other event could be the lobster bake.
Mhm.
Could have two different events, and then go to each one.
Or I can mix all into one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. And
So
and for
anyway.
you, Kirsten,
Yeah,
what
so-
would you like?
So like when I
But-
first came here, I volunteered for. I used to help serve breakfast on the schooner, the Adventure, that now is on the ocean again.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, it was in badly need of repair and was not ocean worthy.
Mm-hmm.
So they did have some receptions, things on the boat, but it was being repaired. And so one of my earliest memories has to do with already, the history. And at that time, the movie had just come out after the book, The Perfect Storm, with George Clooney,
Mm-hmm.
which is a true story about the shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
It happened here, and it's true that over 10,000 people have lost their lives to the ocean or being, fishermen or fisherwomen. And fishing is still the most dangerous, most difficult profession.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, fishermen are very proud, and they love what they do. They need to be out in the ocean. They get up at 4 a.m. And so anyway, all that that romance just got me from the beginning.
And where you came from?
So so that's great.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I had been, so I grew up in a little town in Pennsylvania, and then my dad moved on his job to Kansas. I was stuck in the middle of the United States from the age of 13 till I graduated from college. And then I went to work for the Japanese government, which is where I met my now ex-husband, who's a Brazilian of 100% Japanese blood. So basically, I've lived in 3 different other countries, and I've lived in 2 other states, but and I've lived in Massachusetts and 3 different locations. But once I came to Gloucester, I realized that this is where. Let me put it this way.
Yes.
When I first got here, I was told by a native that if you're not born here and you don't die here, you're not considered a native, an indigenous person of Gloucester.
Wow.
So, but having said that, I've been here now 20 some years, but since the first moment I set foot here, I never felt as at home as anywhere else. And so even going to other countries and doing other things, this is the place where I'm definitely going to die, and this is my home, you know. So what about you? Since moving to Gloucester, do you feel like, is this your, aside from you have a beautiful house, have a beautiful kitchen, by the way.
Yeah.
And is Gloucester the place that you feel like is going to be your home?
I don't know.
I don't know yet.
Yes, I don't know yet. I don't know what life is gonna take it. I know I love the sun, and I'm very happy for the lighting in the city. But we also like the warmth, so we might be moving
what's
south.
The drawback?
Yes, the cold. Yes, the cold. And so I don't know yet. It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time ahead of us. But this is our home for now, and I want to enjoy it now, and I want to take the best of it.
So, all right. So, finally, what is it? So, learning about Brazilian culture here and the history here, but also, what are you doing, if anything, to take what you know about your Brazilian culture and weave it into the experiences of the people who come in contact with your son or you and your husband that don't know anything about Brazil?
Yeah, it's funny. Like it's already happening, you know. Like my son, he used to eat everything, but now for lunch he only likes rice and beans. So I'm like always concerned about, like, the teacher's like, really, this mom is only bring rice and beans, but this is like the basic food. Yes. So it's funny. Like,
so he's really Brazilian, and he can show.
Yes. Even though he was born here and he loves
of being a Brillian, you can love what is easy, and it doesn't have to be different for you to love it. And
and then in the morning too, he asked me for coffee. He says, "I want a grandma's coffee." My mom taught him how to drink coffee.
Brazilian adults give kids coffee way younger than Americans.
Yes. It's not that he's addictive. Like once in a while, like once in a month, he wake up and like, Mom, can I please have grandma's coffee? and pão de queijo, like the cheese bread. That's what he loves.
Would you let him have coffee at your house in the morning?
A little bit, like a tiny, like I do like a little cup, like a really small cup with a little bit of coffee. Lots of milk, but not the coffee itself. Coffee with milk.
Okay.
And a little bit of sugar. Just slightly, so he can just like have the flavor of it. Yeah. He's not hyper or anything. He's very calm. And
what else do you see
your
son maybe introducing to his American friends? That's maybe something that's good for them, that they're learning from him.
I think being proud of the language. I really like how he was watching YouTube cartoons, and we always like, you have the YouTube Kids just for kids. And he said once, even though he's speaking English now, when he's playing on his own, he's speaking English. But when we talk to him, we always speak in Portuguese. And he was like, Mom, I just want to have that cartoon. It was like a pirate cartoon. but I wanted them to speak Portuguese just like me. So I thought it was very cute, like his
That's
identity.
great.
So the Portuguese language is
That
his
is
identity.
great.
He wants the cartoon to speak his language.
That's great.
So that's one thing that we are working on. Like just not speaking to him in English.
right, that's
Try
very
to
important.
conserve
So
the
speak some-
language, because
as
I
you
know
said,
it's gonna
how.
get
That's
to what
right, that's
it's
right.
gonna get to a time when kids.
That's right. He's gonna go, oh, Portuguese. No.
Yeah. But I wanted him to be proud of his
You're
language,
right.
and I'm glad that he sees the Portuguese language as part of his identity. So it's
important.
nice.
My kids were trilingual,
Mhm.
but as they got older, they got more and more
Mhm.
rebellious. So it's still there, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is that if he's proud of it and he sees how important and useful it is,
Mhm.
it's gonna put him way ahead of the.
Definitely,
Good game.
definitely. Yes. And with the language, there's always the culture, bits of culture as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So switching to Portuguese now. Yeah.
Yes,
Bem-vindos ao Melhor dos Dois Mundos. Aqui esse programa foi desenhado especificamente para os brasileiros e para os americanos que querem aprender um pouco mais da cultura através de parcerias, de amizades, de experiências pessoais. Hoje nós estamos aqui, a gente sempre traz um pouquinho da comida, né, que faz parte da cultura, e a gente vai falar hoje sobre a história de Gloucester. A gente está celebrando esse ano, 1623, foi quando a Gloucester foi praticamente fundada. A gente é o cabo mais antigo, né? Invadido, exato. Se a gente for falar certinho mesmo.
Italianos e portugueses, pescadores.
Os pescadores, exato, que chegaram aqui nessa região e a gente está celebrando, né? Eu tive uma entrevista com a Elcha.
Fala sobre a comida que eu quase comi tudo
tá,
aqui.
ok. Então, hoje eu trouxe um pão tradicional americano. É um bolo de banana, né? A gente fala, bolo e pão, que eles falam, banana bread.
Gostoso, sim.
Com banana, maravilhoso. O Luca gostava muito, ele comeu muito quando ele era criança.
Realmente entre bom, bolo e pão. Né?
Realmente, não é? Entre bolo e pão. E hoje eu trouxe aqui uma maionese. Eu sei que a Kristen não come maionese, mas é uma saladinha.
Eu sei fazer, mas não como porque realmente não gosto de maionese própria, né? Porém, ouvi falar e eu fiz com maçã, suco de laranja, batata, cenoura. Mas e você? Sua receita é diferente, né? Como você fez?
Depende, né, do gosto da pessoa. Eu geralmente gosto de maçã na salada de maionese, mas às vezes eu tenho uma amiga que tem alergia à maçã crua. E tem pessoas que não gostam. Meu marido não gosta do gosto do doce e salgado juntos, então eu procuro deixar mais o tradicional. Eu coloquei batata, ralei cenoura, milho. Eu esqueci de falar, mas eu coloquei palmito também. Palmito, cebolinha.
Ervilha,
não coloquei ervilha e não quis colocar
Ervilha.
ovo, porque o ovo ele estraga fácil, né? Não tem vagem, eu não coloquei congelado, não.
Okay.
Como eu fiz todos os vegetais fresquinhos, então acho que só o milho que era enlatado. E aí a Kirsten deu a ideia, a gente foi numa lojinha brasileira e ela queria comer o pão brasileiro.
Já comi também,
o pão francês. E aqui eu tô me aventurando no pão com maionese.
Brasileiro é melhor que o pão francês da França.
Não é?
Mas qual é a diferença, na sua opinião?
Eu acho
baguete e pão francês brasileiro?
É muito diferente.
Sim.
O baguete é tipo aquela bengala, né? Que é aquele longo. E ele é mais durinho.
Sim.
Os brasileiros, eu acho que eles acabaram adaptando aí esse pão francês. Ele é mais macio, ele dura mais tempo, né? Assim, o pão baguete, ele endurece com muita facilidade. Esse daqui é mais macio, a crosta dele é mais fininha. Enfim.
Tem também baguete, mas também tem pão francês, o pão italiano, que parece Mas também
Não é.
tão
Eu acho que o brasileiro é mais leve, né?
mais leve.
A massa não é tão pesada.
Hum.
E então celebrando aí os 400 anos de Gloucester, uma
E cheia
cidade
de calorias,
mais...
né? Graças a Deus, porque já comi tudo.
Sim, eu acho que deve ter umas 200
É,
calorias aí nesse pãozinho. E a gente está aqui, o ano passado nós celebramos 200 anos do Brasil, teve celebração aqui na cidade.
200 anos.
E esse ano a gente está celebrando, né, 400 anos de Gloucester, é uma das cidades mais antigas, é o que tem o porto mais antigos, uma cidade de Gloucester, né?
Porém, como você falou, é mais antiga que 400 anos.
Exato. Então eu fui conversar com a Elsa, que ela é a diretora executiva que está organizando a celebração de Gloucester nesse ano. Então eles estão localizados ali na Main Street, então é um lugar bem legal, você pode chegar lá, você pode entrar, tem várias coisinhas assim de Gloucester. E ela estava contando um pouquinho da história dela, ela na verdade é holandesa e mudou para Gloucester há 25 anos por conta do trabalho e está organizando, né, esse um ano de eventos. Então, no final, a gente vai colocar aqui o link com todos os eventos que vai estar acontecendo na cidade, muitos eventos gratuitos.
Mas, por falar no pessoal indígena antes, uma vez eu vi aqui, ou seja, convidei um chefe de uma tribo antigo, ou seja, o Massachusetts, que é o tribo que deu nome para o estado de Massachusetts. E ele se chama o chefe Wampi. E ele, ao chegar aqui, falou que aqui morava meu povo, ou seja, ele conhecia pela pedra, pelas árvores, pelas montanhas, ou seja, onde ele estava, quem estava do tribo dele antigamente, os como se chama, ancestors.
Os ancestrais, né?
Ancestrais. Né?
E quando você fala assim dos ancestrais, eu lembro muito da constelação familiar, que é uma terapia alternativa. E tem um princípio básico da constelação que é a hierarquia. Então, todo lugar que a gente chega, o quanto que é importante a gente honrar quem veio antes, né? E isso gera tão menos, né? Facilita tanto a nossa vida. Então, quando eu fui conversar lá com a Elsa, eu falei assim, eu sou a última a chegar, né? Tivemos os indígenas que chegaram antes dos 400 anos, aí depois tiveram a população portuguesa, sicilianos, pescadores, que estiveram aqui também. E aí tem uma grande população brasileira também, né, Kirsten? Já aumentando aqui na região. E o que eu mais gostei assim da cidade de Gloucester, o que a Elsa enfatizou bastante, é sobre a diversidade, né? Tem muitas pessoas aqui, teve pessoas, ela falou que o ano passado teve um grupo de pessoas do Afeganistão que foram soltar pipa para celebrar também, né, ali na praia, compartilhar um pouquinho da cultura deles. Ano passado a gente teve a celebração do Brasil ali no museu, em setembro, o Museu de Cape Ann. E é uma cidade assim tradicional e histórica, com muita arte, e as pessoas são muito amigáveis, muito amigáveis.
Somos a colônia de pescadores mais velha e também a colônia de arte mais velha nos Estados Unidos.
Uau.
Temos o Rocky Neck, que é um lugar que está cheio de lojas de pintura de artistas mesmos. Como se chama? Galleries, por exemplo.
Galerias, né? De artes.
E, ou seja, e também somos uma série de alimentação, de comida, boa comida, de culinária, né? Temos a cultura de história, comida, arte, pescadores, é muito rica. E não importa se você seja rico ou que você seja pobre, o que importa é que é seu caráter. Então aqui temos muitos eventos com queijo, vinho. Você não paga nada, então você só se veste bem. Ninguém nem sabe, você pode ser quase sem terra, ninguém sabe, né? E ninguém pergunta.
Exato, né? Exato. É uma cidade bem gostosa, bem histórica, assim. Uma coisa que me chamou a atenção aqui em Gloucester foi ali na Main Street. Me fez lembrar muito da Newbury Street de Boston, né? Eu trabalhei em Boston por muitos anos. Então é uma ruazinha muito charmosa, cheia de comércios, assim, os comércios muito bem cuidados, bem atraentes, bastante comerciantes mesmo locais, bastante artes, né? Joalheria, semijoias, artigos artesanais, pinturas, então é bem gostoso. E tem também, gente, nessa rua, restaurante brasileiro, o que é muito legal. Tipo assim, se sente um pouquinho também que ter essa disponibilidade, né? De ter um pãozinho francês a 5 minutos de casa.
Eu moro numa casa vitoriana e agora reparei que no ano que vem vai ter 125 anos.
Uau!
Minha casa foi uma casa de um apotecário. Apotecário.
Hipotecário.
Sim.
Uau, que bacana.
Interessante. E a praia, mas temos praia também aqui.
Não é? Kirsten, fala um pouquinho da onde você veio, a sua jornada toda e como que você veio parar aqui em Gloucester. O que você gosta de Gloucester?
Ou seja, tenho numa cidade muito pequena de como 1.000 habitantes. Hoje em dia também tem menos que 2.000 habitantes em Pennsylvania Sul. Mas ao sul daqui, mas perto das montanhas e laguinhos, não muito perto ao mar, mas cada verão minha família foi ao mar no New Jersey, Maryland, North Carolina, né? Eu sempre gostava da praia. Mas quando eu tinha 13 anos, meu pai mudou a família por causa do trabalho, porque ele foi transferido. A gente foi para Kansas, onde não tem nada de montanha e plano. E o povo é muito, ou seja, amigável, porém não tem montanha, não tem mar. Então eu fiquei, ou seja, eu fui lá, estudei, mas depois eu fui para o Japão. Eu trabalhei por o governo japonês, onde conheci meu agora ex-marido, que é um brasileiro de descendência japonesa. E moramos em México, ou seja, eu morei em Brasil, Japão. Porém, eu sempre queria morar ao perto da praia, ou seja, do mar e das montanhas. E para mim, Gloucester tem tudo, ou seja, né? Mas também não é tão longe da cidade própria, ou seja, Boston.
Exato.
Porque eu nem gosto tanto da roça, nem da cidade. Ou seja, eu gosto de um pouco de countryside e um pouco do lado urbano. E você?
Eu também. Eu amo a natureza, amo o mar, mas eu também não gosto de uma vida muito pacata, não. Eu gosto de um pouquinho gosto de prédios, gosto de ver luzes. Inclusive, meu filho continua indo pro pediatra lá em Boston. A gente dirige, é uma longa viagenzinha, assim, mas é gostoso também. É gostoso ver um pouquinho da cidade e dos prédios. E o que você pesquisou, Kirsten? A gente estava falando aqui sobre a comunidade brasileira celebrando Gloucester e também um pouquinho, né? A gente quer compartilhar aqui com vocês um pouquinho da história brasileira. O que você conseguiu achar, Kirsten? O que aconteceu?
Depois eu fui atrás, ou seja, factos, dados sobre imigração brasileira. Então liguei ao museu, Cape Ann Museum of History, ou Cape Ann Museum. E eles falaram que tem algum arquivo brasileiro que seja Brasil. Brazilian File, que tem Porém, que até o dia, sei lá, dia 26, está fechado que eles estão reformando o museu. Mas tem aí, pelo menos, um arquivo Brasil, lá no museu que vou verificar. E aí também mencionaram que eu devia ligar para o prefeito, que eles têm também um departamento dos arquivos, né? Liguei e ela falou, aqui temos dados sim. E você pode ver de 9 horas da manhã até meio-dia, segunda até quarta e sexta-feira só. Tudo bem, porém não é muito tempo, ou seja, de
Claro.
Mas a gente vai lá, porém também segundo eles, ou seja, os dados são muito recentes, ou seja, os dados mais velhos são do década de 70, ou seja, 1970, por exemplo. Então, realmente está faltando e podemos dizer a biblioteca também, né? Não fui ainda, porém, eu acho que está na hora que brasileiros aqui, né, que ficam interessados, né? E vamos atrás, vamos juntos pesquisando, né?
Sim, sim, a gente quer pedir ajuda se você é brasileiro que mora aqui em Gloucester. É uma história que eu ouvi que eu achei muito interessante. Eu estava num aniversário, num baby shower, num chá de bebê ali em Everett, e eu encontrei um rapaz que trabalha no consulado brasileiro e que ele era motorista e que ele trazia brasileiros lá de Nova York e New Jersey aqui para Gloucester e que todos esses brasileiros que ele trazia era da cidade de Resplendor. E realmente, algumas pessoas que eu já conheci aqui é da cidade de Resplendor. E tem até uma conversa entre eles falando assim: olha, o último a sair da cidade, apaguem a luz. Então, cada família na cidade.
Sim. É só que eu pensar, será que tem outra cidade que vai para Resplendor?
Não é?
Outra que vai para Resplendor para Resplendor, né?
Sim, para preencher,
Sim,
né, o
preencher
lugar
o
vazio. Então, dizem que em
Sim.
Resplendor, toda a família tem alguém que mora aqui. Então, se você é brasileiro, tá nos ouvindo, sabe um pouquinho da história, conhece, né? Teve uma tia, uma avó que veio pra cá, tem fotos, tem lembranças, tem cartinhas, tem algum dado, vem contar aqui pra gente.
Sim. Vamos organizar um evento.
Sim.
No outono,
no final
inverno,
do ano, em dezembro.
Todas as pessoas vão ser patrocinadas com muitos prêmios, né? E vamos ver
quem vai ganhar o prêmio.
Velho, né?
Isso. As pessoas que vão ganhar o prêmio são as pessoas que trazem para nós, né? Que tragam para nós algum dado, alguma coisa concreta da história dos brasileiros aqui em Gloucester. Então, se você tem alguém, quer dar uma entrevista aqui pra gente, quer mostrar uma foto, quer contar uma história, vem pra cá. A gente tem que saber o ano certinho, né? Tem que saber o ano. Você tem que ser residente de Gloucester, saber o ano que isso aconteceu e trazer pra gente esses fatos, e aí você vai ganhar um prêmio. E a gente vai fazer essa festividade também para incluir os americanos e brasileiros, né, que queiram estar com a gente. E vai ser muito legal. Vai ser muito legal ouvir essas histórias.
Vamos criar nossa própria história juntas, indo em frente, né?
Exato.
Vamos incluir a história brasileira na história da Gloucester. E fala, como é que sua filha, por exemplo, ela é brasileira, né? Mas você falou que ela gosta de ter arroz e feijão, né? Ou seja, você está incluindo a sua cultura brasileira como de uma maneira autêntica no dia a dia. E como é que você quer realmente incluir seu lado brasileiro na comemoração? Sim.
Então, quando a Kirsten me convidou a fazer esse programa, eu realmente já me vi daqui 10 anos, né? Quando meu filho for lá para a escola e quiser compartilhar um pouquinho, meus pais são brasileiros, e que ele possa ir lá no YouTube e achar as entrevistas e achar todos esses fatos históricos. Então, para você que é mãe também, que está nos assistindo, e tem seus filhos também na escola, né? Então, incentivem eles, né, a assistir o programa ou até pesquisarem sobre a cultura. Então, esse é um jeito de contribuir, né, com a comunidade, com a cultura brasileira, falando um pouquinho sobre a comida. E o Luca, quando ele vai para a escola, ele leva a marmitinha dele, inclusive é desse tamanho geralmente, e ele só come arroz e feijão. E aí eu fico imaginando, né? O que as professoras estão pensando?
Ai, que chato, né?
Essa
coisa maravilhosa, mas que maravilhosa que seu próprio filho quer comer arroz e feijão, que é a coisa mais simples, mais rápida e mais saudável, né?
Sim, sim, sim. E outra coisa que aconteceu esses dias, ele assiste televisão lá no YouTube Kids, né? Que é bem bacana. E aí ele falou assim, mamãe, eu quero assistir o desenho do pirata, mas eu quero que ele fala português igual a mim. Então o que eu achei legal é que ele está se identificando com a língua portuguesa, né? Por mais que ele é americano e nasceu aqui, é americano e brasileiro, ele identifique a língua como parte dele, né? Algo bem, bem pessoal dele. Então é muito, muito gratificante. É importante que a gente consiga manter, né? Isso daí para mim é uma meta, manter a língua portuguesa viva dentro de casa e conversar com ele somente em português. E quando ele fala inglês, eu falo assim, olha, não entendi direito não. Fala de novo, o que você quer dizer?
Porque meus filhos falavam português, espanhol e inglês, mas agora eles às vezes pedem que não, que não entendem, que têm vergonha, ou seja, é uma pena, porque
É uma pena.
é uma ferramenta,
Uhum.
é um dono, ou seja, é um talento, realmente é um presente de Deus ter a capacidade de falar mais que um idioma.
Uhum.
Mas que bom que Lucas está aproveitando, que ela gosta de arroz e feijão. Então, e algum dia vai ter os amigos deles em casa e vai fazer arroz e feijão para
Com
todos.
certeza,
também.
brigadeiro, coxinha, né? Todas essas
Né?
comidas mais tradicionais.
E isso também que a gente queria falar, porque como a gente vai inovando e fazendo um futuro melhor, às vezes você não pode melhorar o banana bread e o pão francês.
Não é?
Nem o maionesa.
Não
Às
é,
vezes,
tradicional.
as melhores coisas são as mais antigas também.
Sim,
Igual
sim.
a amizade, né?
A amizade também. Então, nós estamos aqui celebrando
Sim.
um brinde
Sim.
a
Sim.
Gloucester,
Sim.
a
Pra
comunidade
vocês.
brasileira,
E vamos fazer a
você.
história brasileira em Gloucester, juntos.
Sim, nos
Para A
ajudem.
gente pode ter o melhor
Dos
de
dois mundos.
Tchau.
Tchau, tchau. Welcome to the best of both worlds. Today we are here at 400 plus Gloucester place of celebration, and my guest today is Elsha.
So as Christiane said, my name is Elsha, which is, I'm named after my grandmother, and it's a Dutch name. I was born in the Netherlands. And I think your question is what brought us to Gloucester? I think it was work in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And we fell in love with Gloucester, both my husband and I. There's a magic here that is unlike any other place I've been in. The light is amazing. The history is compelling, and just being here, the grittiness of this city is we've found very attractive, and the beauty of it. And so that's what brought us here. And you know, we've lived here for 25 years because we were having dinner with friends in Gloucester who said, you know, Elsha, there's a position available as executive director of Gloucester 400 Plus. And I said, I had retired from my position and in the university and become a yoga instructor. And so I said, no, it's sometimes I've really felt called to this position. I met the tri-chairs, Bob Gillis, Ruth Pino, and Bruce Toby. I met Jill Cahill at the city. I spoke to the executive director emerita, Laura Ventimiglia, and it just seemed like such a good fit. They thought so, I thought so, and I became very excited about the vision, which was really to educate and to commemorate and to celebrate the rich cultural diversity that we have in Gloucester. And what particularly attracted me to the project was the fact that the attention that was paid to the Indigenous people who had lived in Gloucester for tens of thousands of years, well before the English settlers arrived in 1623. And so the plus is very intentional, and it really speaks to our respect and our acknowledgement of that period of history also. And so as we move forward with celebrating not only the Indigenous contributions in Gloucester over the last 400 years, but also that of many other cultures. And, you know, I think of the Brazilian culture, and particularly last year with their festivities for, I think it was the 200th.
Exactly. Like, so Brazilians celebrated 200 years of independence, and we had a little celebration here on Museum Cape Hen last summer, so in September 7th. So it was beautiful. I didn't get to go. I was moving here, but it's I'm loving the city. Like you said, the light is very beautiful. Like I have the sun rising right on my sunroom on the back, and then the sunset is right on my living room. So I get sunlight all day long, and even change my sleeping patterns actually. But it's a beautiful thing, and like you said, there's something about the city that is just so charming, right? And the people too. I'm finding I just moved. I'm the last one to arrive. Like I said, you know, we have the indigenous people coming, the English settlers. We have a lot of Portuguese, Sicilian, Italians, and now we have the Brazilians coming. We have more than 4,000 Brazilians living here on the Cape Ann region. So it's a diverse culture. The beaches are beautiful, and the lighting, I'm so in love with it. So I'm glad to be part of like a little piece of this history.
Yeah, when you talked about the beaches, that reminded me that last fall, the Afghani population that lives in Gloucester and contributes to the cultural diversity here as well had a wonderful kite building and kite flying event on the beach that the public was invited to. And I just read actually in the Gloucester Daily Times of the woman who is from Ukraine, came here to flee the war, and is now doing a fundraiser to bring her friend over. And her comment really struck me. Gloucester is a friendly place. The people of Gloucester will help, me raise funds for my friend. And so that's what we want to celebrate. And particularly in the fall, we're having a heritage festival, a celebration of place. And Isabel Pett, who is our program events manager, is inviting a wide variety of people and cultures to participate in that day. It will be at Stage Fort Park, and it will be huge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know.
You want to just put it in your calendar. Do you have a date, a specific day? I know you said
we do
fall.
have a date, and I would have to look it up. It's in August.
That's okay. I'm gonna get all the dates for all the events that for free, right? All the events that's gonna happen.
There are
this
many
year.
free events, and
Excellent. We're gonna try to get you the calendar and put it here on the video so everybody can participate.
we would be happy to do that. And if there are other cultures who are interested in becoming partners with us, we would be happy to mutually begin to promote each other's events. And so I think that's one way that we can really do some great outreach in the community.
That's great. And I think we all, I feel this hospitality, and I'm so happy to be part of this community. I'm so happy to be contributing and connecting, be the connector as well with the Brazilian community and the American community. So is there any other events on the top of your head that it's going to include other cultures too, and how the Brazilians can also participate on these events?
Well, the Finnish population is actually coming. There is an organization that represents Finns, and so they are the Finnish people, and they are coming here to have their big celebration in Gloucester because it is our 400th. And they, of course, came, the Finns, for the quarrying industry that happened in Gloucester as well. And there are many stories about that as well. If you look on our stories page, which will be a legacy project from the Gloucester 400 to the city, it's the stories of people that lived and worked here and that currently live and work here. We would invite any of folks from other cultures also to reach out to us, go to the website and tell us their stories. And we will publish them. We're very interested in those stories. And that's one way that we can certainly help that.
Awesome. So it's great. Like we know, like in the end, we need to give hands. We need to find, what is the best on each other's culture and grow stronger, right? It's beautiful. So Elsha, thank you again for your time and for being directing all these events throughout this year. And we're gonna put here the calendar for you that are watching us.
Great.
So you can also participate on the free events. So Thank you all, and feel free to come to stop by. Anybody can stop by here.
Anybody can stop by the office at 123 Main. We have some things that we'd like to sell, t-shirts, hats, that kind of thing, just as a little token, a little souvenir for you. But by all means, stop by. We'd love to talk to you.
Excellent. Thank you all.